Jackie's Motors, huge sharks guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
More fish than Finding Nemo.
Wow!
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the wonders of the deep.
This sucks. Yep.
We won't take you for a ride. Insurance is a promise to pay. At Beacon, we keep our promises.
Good evening and welcome to another You Decide Political Watch. I'm your host, Byron Campbell. This evening our topic is NUF, NUF, officially launched. And our guests are Honorable Glenys Roberts, and she's of course a member of the National United Front, and Ferran Lowe, he's also a member of the National United Front. Let me welcome you special guests, Honorable Glenys Roberts and Ferran Lowe. Welcome to You Decide Political Watch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Well, this is breaking news. I mean, this is big. Here. Yesterday, you launched your party, NUF. All of this coming in the backdrop of your resignation, Honorable Roberts, and the subsequent resignation from the National Democratic Congress, and your subsequent expulsion from the National Democratic Congress. But begin by telling us something about NUF, its philosophy, and using our popular terms, its core values. I mean, what? Yeah. Well, of course, it must. I assume it has to have some core values here. I mean. But let's begin first by telling us about what happened yesterday. I mean, at your launch. I mean, what I know it was carried on the news, but in essence, what do you see as the main purpose and output of that session yesterday?
Ferran, go.
Yes.
The session yesterday evening at the Grand Beach was a launch of our political party, which is called the National United Front, which means that we are united to serve. And our word, operative word, is united. The session went through with a welcome remark and a little brief background with Mr. Jerome Joseph, who is our anchor. Mr. Joseph, as I call him, my political father, because when I started politics in 2003, in actual fact, yesterday was exactly 9 years since I was elected into the Parliament of Grenada. Mr. Joe was always there guiding, and Mr. Joe is still there guiding.
Okay.
And we made that bold move forward because we know that Grenada needs an alternative in the new political dispensation. And I want to say that we believe that the time has come for us as politicians to focus more on serving to get results, and to do so with political maturity.
My first reaction would be that we've heard all this before.
Yes.
What's different now, really?
What will be different is because we will be consulting with our various persons. And when I say so, we need to get the youth more involved. Instead of us few people sitting in a room and deciding the course, we would like to do so with inclusion of all sectors. And when I say political maturity, let me explain. The time has come for us to understand that if you are supporting this party, Ferran is supporting this party, we can be separate on our political views and philosophy, but if we need to move this banner, we can hold hands to move the banner. But we find that we still practice that politics of divisiveness, that if you are here, you cannot have a current government contract. If you deviate from what a minister may say, you feel the brunt of that power, rather than being mature enough to understand. And I can give an example. Look in the United States of America. We had, when Obama went in 2008, himself and Hillary Clinton, they had a bitter ride into that Democratic convention. Obama won. But at the end of the day, when he sat to put his officers in place, Hillary Clinton is the Secretary of State. So they are working for America. That is the type of maturity.
And tomorrow he's having lunch with Romney in the Oval Office. Well, at the White House.
And that is the maturity. Yeah. It will take a while. You know, people may say that, oh, that's far-fetched, but it starts with you.
Okay, fair enough. Look, a number of persons, 10 were expelled, but we know that there's a major division within the NDC, and all those that were expelled, plus the supporters of those that were expelled, those that disagreed fundamentally with the principles of the NDC as it exists now under Tillman Dormas. We live in a small society, and let's talk about what's happening. And it was understood that a political party was going to be formed, it is formed or launched, and one expected to see the like of Peter David and the Ali Gill and the from St. Patrick's, what's his name?
Gilbert.
Honorable Gilbert and so forth, Pastor Simon and so forth. Remarkably, these faces were not seen in the launch yesterday. I mean, are we seeing a division? Is this signs of a division within a division? I mean, what's it? Explain. No, but explain to us. I mean, we're trying to interpret this.
No, it's not something you have to interpret.
Well,
because in the first instance, what has seemed to have been sold to the public all along from within the cabinet of the Honorable Tillman Thomas is that you have these bad boys and a bad girl. The rebels, as they call them.
Yeah.
Gang of Four, also the labels.
Yeah.
But what has been happening, remember that they did not resign as a block. Individuals move who were fired. Joe Gilbert was fired, Peter David resigned, and then Glennis Roberts resigned. So it's not that they were kicked out of the cabinet as a group, and then eventually they were expelled from the party. So there was no organized group as such. So that now that Peter David and the others are not involved at this stage in the National United Front, that you can see there is division. One thing, and Sister Glennis was making a point, one of the difference, or a major difference, I should say, that our party will be bringing to this table is the level of respect for the individual, right? Tolerance for different point of view, and stop this thing about demonizing each other, calling each other's name and so on in order to transcend or to elevate yourself over other people. It is one of the things that have kept us back in this society, right, and have led us to this stunted growth. So that, as Glennis pointed out, this is Grenada, and if we keep the focus on building this country, then we know that each one of us are different. Each one is different, right? We are made up different, so therefore we have different social experience, we have different impact on society, and we would have different point of views and so on. But at the end of the day, if we decide, as to say, we're moving the banner from here today, so long as that would result in developing this little state that we call Grenada, then that is how we intend to approach it. So this thing about, because you're a public servant, you ought not to be seen at a political rally of a party that is not in office. And this thing about, like yesterday, there's so many people that were invited to that function who would have liked to come, but they were afraid that they were seen there, that the camera was put on them, and their job would be in jeopardy. In other words, that is very backward, and that is not the kind of thing we want to promote. So our concept of, the concept that we're bringing forward is, look, you're my brother, I'm your sister. We will have disagreement, but we must understand what is the vision? Where do we want to head? Do we want that our children to see that to see us fighting against each other and call that politics? This is what's being demonstrated in this country.
But I'm glad you raise it, because I'm to understand you are a political appointee. In the current NDC administration, is there a conflict of interest? Yesterday, you sitting at a table. Have you resigned?
I have resigned.
You have resigned,
yes,
effective when?
Effective the day before.
Okay, well, that's important, because, well, fine, okay, I'm glad I asked.
I went up to the Prime Minister's office and I handed in a letter to his secretary and a copy to my minister, because you see what is happening. As it stands, a couple months ago, I received a letter from the Prime Minister's office. They have this new department where Chief of Staff, and they said I was no more under the Ministry of Agriculture, I had to report directly to Chief of Staff. Yeah. So that division falls under
Mr. Joseph, William Joseph, yes.
Ambassador Joseph, as he's referred to.
Right.
And so therefore, I had to hand in my resignation to the Prime Minister.
Was accepted?
I suspect it's accepted. The fact that it's been handed in, it's implied that it's accepted.
Accepted. Honorable Roberts, look, I looked at your statement yesterday, and I want to make some reference to, briefly, to some of the things you said. During your address, one of the things you said that you're referring to the nation, that we as a nation have finally found a party that we can vote for. But isn't this premature in the sense that you don't yet have a party? You have launched a party. You don't have members. You don't have registered members. So isn't the statement like that premature in that you're not certain how this party is going to evolve? And so is it premature to tell the voters that here we have a party you can vote for?
No. How can it be? Look at the room last night. Hello.
What about the room?
There was no empty seats.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, Byron, I say to people all the time, you don't know what tomorrow brings. You could only do for today. And it is your faith. And if you looked at the speech at the beginning, my time into politics, on entering into politics, I'm deep rooted in faith. And I am sure that this launch that we make would take off, and take off considerably, because we are bringing a different face. In other words, the politics that I would have...
Is it a different face, really? It's the same faces that we saw in 2008, at least many of the same faces.
No. This face ain't the same because I have a low haircut.
Okay. I've been just directed that we have to go to a break, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Huge sharks, guaranteed!
Guaranteed?
More fish than Finding Nemo!
Wow!
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the wonders of the deep!
This sucks. Yep.
We won't take you for a ride. Insurance is a promise to pay. At Beacon, we keep our promises.
SportsMax and Flow are giving the gift of Christmas. Sign up for the Max Pack with SportsMax and Fox Soccer Plus on Flow between now and December 14, and you automatically have a chance to win one of 2 40-inch television sets. It's that easy. Plus, see West Indies in Bangladesh, South Africa in Australia, England in India, and riveting action from the Barclays Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. Call 800-FLOW and subscribe to the Max Pack today.
It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. It doesn't matter how much you've heard it can't be done. It doesn't matter how long you've been waiting or asking. no matter what. We believe in smiling again and never giving up. Never give up. Vitamalt takes care of you.
Watch, talk, click, let's go. Be entertained with Flow. Watch movies together. Flow Cable TV. This Christmas, call your family with Flow Phone.
Best prices around.
They got the fastest broadband for your home.
And business too.
Come flow with us this Christmas.
Flow with us this Christmas and win big. Sign up for any Flow service for your chance to win fantastic weekly prizes and a grand prize of the ultimate entertainment center. Plus, get free installation and a free token when you sign up for 2 or more Flow services while stocks last. Customers who pay their bill in full by the due date will also be eligible for the grand prize. Promotion ends December 24th. See press for details.
And you will see a very special Christmas. Christmas will be. Flow, watch, talk, click.
Welcome back, viewers. We're here with a representative from NUF, National United Front, Honorable Glennis Roberts and Farron Lowe. Look, in your statement yesterday, you talk about the alternative party, and I want to talk about that. What makes it an alternative? But more important is, we know that Grenada has been primarily a two-party nation, and in this case, we have the NNP and the NDC. But the question is, how viable is NUF in what is already a very crowded field of political parties? Last count, 16. So where do you stand? I mean, what are you doing? Are you simply not more dividing the votes further? Giving one party a greater advantage over the other?
Let me begin by saying no party owns any vote. The vote belongs to the individual or the people, if you wish to put it like that. And each party has to, for want of a better word, struggle or attract those votes to its organization. And that is something we need to emphasize. We have this thing about, well, are you forming to split the vote? Whose vote are you splitting? NDC has no votes. I mean, there may be statistics showing that in the last election there were 12,000 votes.
Well, that is what they mean.
Yeah.
So it means that if you come a party when you split that vote, it means that the other party, the NNP is likely therefore to win by default.
It doesn't mean that you're going to be splitting that vote. You may be taken from both parties, and don't forget, within a period of election, there are a number of people who will be coming of age, 18 years and entitled to vote, right? And we have that body of it. We do not have the data, the statistics to show that. And even before that, you have several people who just don't vote because they're not encouraged to vote. What they're seeing does not attract them, and so therefore they're out. And I think one of the reasons why several people do not vote is because that the whole electoral process or the campaigning lacks civility, lacks respect, and so on for people. And we're not addressing the issues. So we go on platform and talk about who look like monkey, who ugly, and who this and that, and I'm going to deal with them when I get into office, and we're going to cut them down. What language is that? What are you telling people? True. So we have taken a concerted position on this, that none of our members on any platform must be using language like that would demean a character notwithstanding. We are not gods. So this thing that we saw was happening recently in the ruling administration, where individuals coming out and calling people evil and devil and all labels and so on. Who give that person or those individuals the right to label people like that, or to speak of that, to people like that? You see, in an election, in a general election, the whole idea about winning, as from our point of view, is not just winning a seat winning a constituency or winning that seat. It's about winning people over to issues that touch and concern them. There are several issues in this country that are not addressed properly. Health, education, the agriculture thing that we always give mouth to and do not address, the tourism sector that we just talk about.
So you're part of the administration for the past 4 years that's responsible for this, but I'll come to this. Yeah. But Honorable Roberts, let's be realistic too. Election is well, constitutionally due in June, April, May next year, around that time, June.
July,
but it's not going to, but clearly, I mean, given the current context, it's happening. Yeah. All the parties are putting their candidates together, their caretakers together. And, I mean, clearly, it's going to happen. It's very unlikely, in fact, according to the pundits, that Parliament would ever reopen. I mean, it is happening now. Here you launching a party. You intend to take part in the election, to win the election. I mean, what exactly is the goal of the party at this point in time?
Like everything else, as the speech says, every success started with a glorious dream. And yes, we would take part in the elections. And this is why we are here, launching, and as Farron just explained, with a new platform. So we want to encourage persons out there, and I'm happy that you gave me a chance to do an advertisement, so that we can encourage persons out there, young persons, who, for some reason, were not comfortable with the sort of political things that have been happening, that they can come on board so that we can develop this country together. And I'm saying we. You know, I use this analogy all the time, that if I knew that my husband would die 9 years into politics, I would have waited for him to die and then come in. But that's the uncertainty I don't know. And because I don't know when election will be called, we are all speculating. Yeah?
But there are certain realities.
No.
Yeah.
That we are speculating.
Yes, sure.
Because you cannot give me it. So it could be July, which means that we have months to prepare.
Can't be July. Statistically. Well, yes, but fine, okay.
So, we're speculating.
Right,
so I'm saying that we have enough time. And the same Mr. Joseph I told you about, he says 24 hours in politics is a lot. So, and I am someone, I tell you, I have a lot of faith. I'm an optimist, and I believe that people will come on board. From that response last night alone, Campbell, it gave us that more renewed energy to push forward and ask our Grenadian people. You can only know if you try.
Well, one of the things last night you said, for example, you said that you're seeking to make a clear break with the immediate political past. You see, and if you're a politician, you've made 2 terms in office, so that means you're certainly a very experienced politician given the length of term. It's your political past, but your political past remains our present the present politics for the country. Well, something I want to raise with you. Here, Prime Minister Thomas has blamed the problems in the NDC on a power struggle and an attempt to take over the party by persons like yourself, because you've been named in the rebels and part of that grouping. So this is what he said. He said that it had nothing to do with leadership. Yet you said you never question his character, only his leadership choices. So my question is, he said one thing, you said another thing, you're both Christians. Who am I supposed to believe? Who is not telling the truth here?
Well, I would not accuse anyone of speaking untruth. But I know that, for example, I like to give examples.
Sure.
So that one would see. When I started in government, I remember on the campaign trail, most of my colleagues, because my style was different, I always read. I deliver my speeches rather than speak ad-lib. And my colleagues would say, come, everybody, come home to the NDC, this is the right thing, as we are doing now. So we won and we'd have gotten to government. And there we are. I remember I was given the portfolio, because remember I was the minister moved the most. So I really have experience. Of course, you didn't mention that.
I want to talk about that too. That's important.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm
I want to talk about that. Absolutely,
right.
that's important.
The most.
Yes.
Yeah. However, I used the movement to build on my capacity, and in 2008, I remember all the months leading up to December, it was Grenlec strike, Republic Bank strike, airport strike. You remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a consultant in the Ministry of Labor, in that of Mr. Anselm de Burgh. But with a team of us who was working at the time on these issues, including the Labor Commissioner and Permanent Secretary, every time we were in a jam, Mr. de Burgh will say, pass a note, Minister, take a break, and we go to office and he says, this is our window. So in 2009, his contract came up for renewal. So I thought he was doing a good job as a consultant, so I brought it up to Cabinet for renewal. And I was asked if I didn't know who this man is. I said, as what? He's a consultant and he's doing a good job. They said, but this man was on the platform against NAS in Northeast. I said, and? Well, he's an NNP. I said, but no, I thought we went past this. He is a good labor consultant. I said, how much did NAS win by? Almost 1,000 votes.
Just over 1,000.
Just over 1,000 or whatever it was said.
Yeah.
I said, well, the man wasn't a factor on the campaign because he won handsomely. But in the ministry, he was doing a good job. And he's a Grenadian. He has a family. And he is of use to us in the ministry. So I would like to...
So, Honourable, I understand the point you're making.
Yeah.
But is the question that is the Prime Minister saying that it was a power struggle, a move to take leadership from him?
Well, what move?
And you saying that it was his leadership style,
Well, of
choices.
course.
So which was it?
Well, how could you take power from somebody in the cabinet?
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to move on.
How can you?
You have the record, I think, for occupying the most portfolio in any government over a 4 or 5 year term. Because I understand you were reshuffled 4 times.
Yeah.
Incredible. But even at one time, there was a standoff with the Honourable Peter David when there was some delay in signing in agreeing. Let me finish, please. Yeah, but the critical question is that how did you feel? I mean, what about that experience? You thought you were unfairly treated?
I thought, and that is a difference in the leadership style.
Yeah.
No, because if, for example, we were given a portfolio, I would imagine that if we would, because we as a government would have a purpose, meaning we would want to concentrate on agriculture, tourism, health. Now, when we look at our benchmarks, we should see, well, listen, we need to put ferry in agriculture because we're lacking there. We were falling short on our percentage that we were projecting, and we will lead like that. However, to me, PM would just decide, I'm moving you. So he will call you and say, well, I'm moving you. No discussion to say, well, okay, you did not perform well in this area, or you are doing well here, and I think I want to push you here to push more, that sort of thing. We never had consultations on the moving. It's just that you heard you were moving. And also, let me explain 2010, because I believe we have explained it, but it keeps coming up. In 2010, when we were moved, for example, the Prime Minister, we had cabinet the Monday. The Tuesday morning, he called everyone and said, I'm moving you. I was in tourism. He said, I'm moving you back to labor. I asked him, when would this be effective from? He told me the following Wednesday. It was 3 moves. It was one where he said Minister Church traveled without saying. He said Minister David knew. I didn't know what I did.
Didn't tell you?
No. So he was just moving. So we all went and had a meeting the night. I called the PM the night and I said, PM, we would like to meet with you. He said he will get back to me. He asked, who will? I said, a group of us. Because we went to our father, Jerome Joseph, at the time. He said he would get back to me. I said, PM, we can come Wednesday because we know it's your constituency there in St. Patrick. He said, no, I wouldn't want that meeting in this office up there. I will call you. He called me Thursday morning to say he can see us at 5 the afternoon because he had something in Petro-Carib and you can see us 5 in his office. But immediately after he called, the Governor General office called to say that swearing in is 9:30 the other morning. And I also want to explain that when you have to swear in by the Governor General, although they call to give you a time, they always said, is this time okay? You can always tweak based on your appointments or so. And so I called back PM. I said, PM, but we asked for a meeting, but you've already made up your mind. So it's no point we meeting this afternoon when you have swearing in set for tomorrow. Right. He said the Governor General had to travel. I said, but PM, you could have said so to us. So we could have brought up the meeting, so there was no point. So we did not sign in on the Friday, but we went on the Monday.
So it was not
big disrespect
because one issue that created a fair amount of controversy within the cabinet was the question of Alba and the question of casino gambling in Grenada. I want to ask you when we come back, what was your position on these two critical positions in cabinet, if you wish? Viewers, we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Talk, click, let's go. Be entertained with Flow. Watch movies together. Flow Cable TV. This Christmas, call your family with Flow Phone.
Best prices around.
They got the fastest broadband for your home.
And business too.
Flow with us this Christmas.
Flow with us this Christmas and win big. Sign up for any Flow service for your chance to win fantastic weekly prizes and a grand prize of the Ultimate Entertainment Center. Plus, get free installation and a free token when you sign up for 2 or more Flow services while stocks last. Customers who pay their bill in full by the due date will also be eligible for the grand prize. Promotion ends December 24th. See press for details.
And you will see a very special Christmas. It will be. Flow, watch, talk, click.
Of the senses. Sight. Sound. Smell. Touch. And taste. Create your state of harmony in no time at all with the Baron Gourmet Collection. Baron, we make food tasty.
Superior one-on-one customer service. Phenomenal products customized to your individual style and need. Fast and efficient service are all attributes that have made St. Louis the leading manufacturers of windows and doors for over 30 years in St. Lucia. And we are now pleased to extend our services to you. Try our new single-hung windows, which can be tilted for easy cleaning. Our famous casement windows, which locks with keys for added security. Our gliders, projected aluminum and heavy sliding windows, sliding and commercial doors, commercial shop fronts, and more. Visit us today, building number 19 Frequente Industrial Park, St. George's, or call us at 439-6538.
I just want you back for good. In Grenada. The same as a messenger.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Welcome back, viewers. We're here with Honorable Dennis Roberts and 4 and Low members of NUF, National United Front. Before the break, Honorable Roberts, I asked a question. What was your position within Cabinet on the question of Alba and casino gambling? Before we go to the phone line, what was your position in Cabinet on these issues?
This was never discussed in Cabinet. I mean, not when I was there. I mean, I remember a project being brought and shown to us at Cabinet by the Zublin Group, and then a proposal came in, which was then given to the Ministry of Finance to look at before it came back to Cabinet. But no decision or debate was
Alba?
No, sir.
No, Alba?
Not
Okay.
Alba, no.
Okay, we come back to discussions on this, but we go to the line. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good night to you, Mr. Campbell.
Good night, ma'am.
You know, Mr. Campbell, I just want to make two statements. First of all, I really cannot let anybody use me or make me look like a laughing stock or take a fool of me and push me to do something and be behind these the set of people that pushing me. And the only thing about it, the people that pushing me, their hands full of blood. I find that for women, we must be able to, because they have so much women advancement. You know, people must not use us to do their dirty work while their hands full of blood. Also, I just want to end by saying, it's the same people that destroy Gary. Same people that destroy their leader, they love him so much. Same people that destroy NDC. These people are self-destructors. And I want to ask Mr. Lowe, how did he respond to the allegation that they are power-hungry revolutionaries and that Tillman Thomas and the NDC convention was right to throw them out? And a shame for these women and them.
Thank you very much, caller. Good evening. We have another caller online. Good evening, caller. No. Mr. Lowe, you want to respond? Good night, caller. Good night.
Good night. Hello?
Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Good night, Mr. Campbell, and good night to Ms. Roberts and to Mr. Lowe. Mr. Campbell, I hope you give me a little chance, please tonight. Miss Roberts, let me say to you that you are one of the shining lights in my political belief. You are one of the persons that I saw as a rising star in politics. While I never support your party, the party that you, not the party that you know, the party that you were in NDC, but I thought you was a shining light. I'm somewhat disappointed with you now though, but I still feel that you have enough time to recruit yourself. Mr. Lowe, you said that you just resigned yesterday. I think you are a hypocrite. You have been collecting money from the government and not doing a government job. So I have no confidence in you. I have no confidence you were supposed to be the advisor to the minister. I don't think you did a proper job. The salary that you are getting, the government can do something with it now. But I must say that this new organization doesn't appear to me to have a stand up to want to reach anyway. To me, you all stand up on the wrong foot. To me, what you all was preaching before you get in there is not what is following. For instance, we have not seen the faces of the persons who were thrown out, and we were told before that these are the people that will form the nucleus of forming that.
That's all the time. That's all the time we have, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution. Any response from both callers you want to make?
No, well, the caller is entitled to his opinion, and I don't respect that opinion because if you go to the Ministry of Agriculture and you speak to the officers in there, they'll tell you in the circumstances and the resources we had available to us, that I did the job that was assigned to me to do. And Minister Lett could verify that.
As you look back,
it's the only sector in that whole administration over the last 4 years that had any positive growth. First year 9%, the next year I think it was 7%, and continue, notwithstanding that the fact that the Prime Minister, who loves agriculture very much and who always spoke about agriculture, never had the backing of that cabinet, especially the Ministry of Finance and so on, to put the money where your mouth is. And we have done miracles in that ministry collectively without the support that we should have.
So can you say that you're reasonably assured that you did make your...
My conscience is clear.
Clear, okay.
Very clear.
We have a caller online. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good night, sir. How are you?
Very well. Go ahead.
Well, let's send a pleasant good night to Ms. Roberts and pleasant good night to Mr. Ferran Lowe. I'm so happy to see that the discussion that you all have in here, and I'm so happy to see that the launching of the new party last night at the Grand Beach. I have confidence in Ms. Roberts. I have confidence in Mr. Lowe, and I know definitely that these people would do well for Grenada. Listen, not no maybe. Listen me, I have my own thinking, and I know these people, and I know these people mean well. You understand? So the only thing I could say, hold on, don't let nobody to disturb you all. Please do what you have to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Any response from any comments on this caller?
I want to just say that one of the things that NUF, or the National United Front, let me say the words out to get people accustomed with it, is one of respect for people's opinion. You know, our politics have been so divisive, and everything is about personal attacks. We want to see a country where, rather than children going to school with a knife, they'll have a book. So when they get angry, they'll go under a tree and read a book rather than think to use a weapon like that.
Let's hold it. We have to go on the line. Good evening, caller. You're on.
Yes, Mr. Campbell.
Go ahead, sir.
I think you spend a lot of too much time on the NDC. We should be spending more time with NUF.
Thank you, caller. We have another caller online. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Go ahead, please. You're on.
I don't think it's ethical. I just want to say I don't think it's ethical for the former minister to be recounting matters that were discussed in cabinet. For example, the Anne 70 matter. Thank you.
I kind of lost the caller there for a while. But I kind of heard her saying that it's not ethical for the minister to talk about what occurred in cabinet. What she said is what did not occur in parliament. Cabinet, sorry. Yes?
I didn't say
because you asked the question, they did discuss it.
Yes, precisely. We have another caller line. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Campbell.
Go ahead, sir.
Good night to the panel, people there. I would like to say that this is a bold stand, because in politics there is no dead end. And I applaud the people for that kind of strength. In fact, I would like to quote a famous American president that said, the credit belongs to the men in the arena, and not the people that stay on the side and say how things should have done. I think this is a very good step for the future, and that kind of politics is what we want. At the very end, I would like to say that these people and the others that will join the party later on will find themselves in a situation that Grenadians would look at them as bold people and not as cold and timid souls that know neither victory nor defeat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Any comments?
I think that we ought to recognize, and the caller is such a point that the reason, one of the main reasons why we're here is not necessarily that, and I think Glennie said it now, that we have some particular hold on to this movement that we have are bold enough and courageous enough to launch. It's not easy. You have to have guts, and this is why I came to respect Glennie even more. As you know, I managed her campaign in 2003. And when she was launched, she cried in her speech. But the point is, in politics, a leader must know the way, show the way, and lead the way. And everybody won't see or agree with you, but you don't have to get upset and you don't have to get sick. You just have to make sure that what you're doing is that your conscience is clear, and that you're doing it in the interest of you're serving people and not serving your own personal aggrandizement.
We have another caller online. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Good evening.
I've been listening to your program for the last 40 minutes, and I would be very interested to hear some of the policies and platforms that NUF is standing for. So far, all I've heard is excuses for forming a new party. I'd love to hear some of their platforms, some of their policies that they will take forward if they get elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. And we'll come back to this whole question because we have another caller line. We'll take this caller first. Go ahead, caller. Good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Good afternoon to the panel. Do the NUF have a constitution or a draft constitution? And do they have a manifesto or in the process of drafting a manifesto because they intend taking part in the upcoming general election?
Thank you very much, caller. Of course, Ms. Roberts, in fair, some aspect of this was announced, was read out last night.
Yes.
You wish to give some brief highlights of this?
I will.
Yes, please.
And what I will do is read from what was
Yeah.
said in the speech,
Yeah.
and also to say that we've launched a new website
Yeah.
as well. So the speech is online.
Yeah.
So for all who can.
Yeah,
Can-
but we may
can
not
I-
have enough time to read all of it, but
Yeah,
we
but
just highlight.
What we want to do
couple
is
points,
build on the agricultural base by
Yeah.
seeking value added.
Yeah.
Yeah, to develop a robust
Yeah.
agro-industrial project.
Yeah.
We also want to continue negotiations with Trinidad in terms of oil and gas.
Mhm.
We talked also of ICT
Mhm.
and the youth
Mhm.
and young professionals.
Mhm.
And we also talk about in the business sector, what we want to do is to do selective headhunting for investment.
Mhm.
Because we have to appreciate that we have the GIDC, yes, but we need to see and develop the country with specifics. So, for example, if we need to go to our communities, use, as Ferry say in terms of agriculture, we have so much wastages. How can we use our government estate to transcend into feeding the children in school so that we can reduce the importation bill? As was said last weekend in a talk by Mr. Farrakhan, the Caribbean used $5 billion to do importation of food, when in truth and in fact, if we grow our own food, we don't need to import all the preservatives. And that too would link into better health.
As a wider policy issue, the Minister of Finance, or the government has been elaborating the 5 core sectors in terms of going forward. That is the ICT, the oil and gas, the agro industries, the hospitality, hotel sector, which is the 4th one. But do you buy into this also? I mean, from a principal point of view?
But the thing about it is what is reality.
Yeah.
For example, in the tourism sector, we have regressed, really and truly. If you had Liat coming in here 7 times and then it's now coming 4, and when I was Minister of Tourism, Liat is our biggest carrier. So that's a big drop.
Would you invest in Liat as the
We
Dominican
should-
government
we
has
should-
done?
we should invest
We
in
go to the
Liat.
lines. Good evening, caller. Go ahead, please. Good evening, caller. We've lost that
We
caller.
didn't
Yeah.
answer on the manifesto
Yeah.
and the constitution.
Yeah. Well, what's it going forward? Yes. Yes.
We actually have a draft manifesto. In fact, I am responsible for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and also what we call the programmatic platform, which
Yeah.
is really the basis
Yeah,
for
yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
manifesto.
Yeah.
So the constitution is almost ready. In fact, I think by Friday we would have the completed draft because we had a first draft and we are looking through it and so on. And then finally, the manifesto is something that, and we hope by the next couple of weeks, because we have some more consultation doing,
Is a
especially
convention planned? When?
We have, as the minister, as the honorable parliamentary
Representative,
representative, our convention will be in January next year. But a caller pointed, and Sister Glenn started answering the question, the caller before the last one was saying, well, all he's hearing is about excuses. Well, I don't think so. We are just saying what was the principles on which we form. But Sister Glenn started dealing with with some of the policies that we are dealing with. And the last one she mentioned was Liat. And it's one thing we've been having in the discussion is that we must address the whole question of interregional travel because we are suffering. But the traveling issue is haunting us a lot because it affects the tourism trade tremendously. And so when you're uncertain when you're going to leave Grenada because the flight may not come, the flight may come. You know what is happening to the people who want to come to Grenada, the tourists who
The
are
highest
island hopping
potential
and
of
so-
tourists is regional.
Exactly, and
Regional
that has
tourists,
not.
yes.
And we
Yeah.
feel that we should pointedly address that issue, whether in opposition or in government. That's a critical issue. That we were speaking about ferry and so on, but we have to look at this Liat and not only Liat, but Caribbean Airways, which is a Caribbean Airlines, and make sure that people our people and our visitors who want to come or leave Grenada must have some level of certainty in doing that, and that is what we need to address.
And I want to just add to the listeners out there, we, the persons who have launched this new party, we do not have all the answers. We do not have the answer, all the answers. We need you to share with us. Because a lot of time you meet people, Byron, and they say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. But your brain is not my brain.
Let me ask you a question on you should do this or you should do that. Do you have any regrets that you did not support the no confidence vote when it was called by the opposition earlier this year, given what your reality now?
If you remember your parliamentary history, you would remember I wasn't there.
You were, okay. Right.
My husband was dying then.
Okay, how would you have voted if you were present there, in hindsight?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. So this is a kind. This we have to take a break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us, viewers.
Jockey's Motors, huge sharks guaranteed. Guaranteed? More fish than Finding Nemo.
Wow!
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the wonders of the deep.
This sucks. Yep.
We won't take you for a ride. Insurance is a promise to pay. At Beacon, we keep our promises.
Watch, talk, click, let's go. Be entertained with Flow. Watch movies together. Flow Cable TV. This Christmas, call your family with Flow Phone.
Best prices around.
They got the fastest broadband for your home.
And business too.
Flow with us this Christmas.
Flow with us this Christmas and win big. Sign up for any Flow service for your chance to win fantastic weekly prizes and a grand prize of the ultimate entertainment center. Plus, get free installation and a free token when you sign up for 2 or more Flow services while stocks last. Customers who pay their bill in full by the due date will also be eligible for the grand prize. Promotion ends December 24th. See press for details.
And you will see a very special Christmas. It will be.
Flow, watch, talk, click.
SportsMax and the Flow are giving the gift of Christmas. Sign up for the Max Pack with SportsMax and Fox Soccer Plus on Flow between now and December 14, and you automatically have a chance to win one of 2 40-inch television sets. It's that easy. Plus, see West Indies in Bangladesh, South Africa in Australia, England in India, and riveting action from the Barclays Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. Call 800-FLOW and subscribe to the Max Pack today.
Welcome back, viewers. We're here with a representative from NUF, and I have 2 questions that was texted in. I'd like to read them. The first one is to you, Mr. Lowe. It is what have you done to improve the Ministry of Agriculture?
Oh, well, let me explain this. Yeah. One of the things we did when we came into office, and I was appointed there, we realized that there was no strategy. And we had a 3-day workshop, which we got people from the University of West Indies and a number of Caribbean and Grenadian scholars, Dr. Dunstan, you just name them, all these guys, Guido, myself, Floyd Nichols. In the stadium, 3 days, and we came up with a strategic plan for the development of agriculture, a short term, a medium term, and a long term. We had set out in doing this, and a number of these things we tried to implement. We used to call them low-hanging trees. And then we started getting into the problem because you need some dollars to do this. Right? We started confronting the problem of no response from the Ministry of Finance in terms of the monies we need.
But that's an excuse.
No, but I'm just making a point.
What specifically has been achieved?
What had been achieved? Well, I pointed to you. We had a 9% growth. We had, look at what is happening now we implemented the farmers market, the cocoa industry, the diamond, the plant at Diamond Estate, which we do a joint venture with the Cocoa Association and Budic, and so on. We have improved the production of cocoa. We have set up the Spice Research Project, and we could go on.
What was your view on the feeder road in terms of the delay?
Well, that was disastrous, because you see, part of the problem we face in this country is that you come in and you meet a project, and because...
But did you support the delay in this?
No, I did not support the delay. I think that we should have, with all the defects that were there, what happened, over 300 people were out of jobs, and we yango.
So you supported the Labour position here? Then.
Well, clearly, because we should have worked with what we have, and as we go on, make the necessary
let me move on. We're short on time, yes? The second question has to do with what the person is saying. The current manufacturers rebate regime is expected to expire on the 31st of December. What is your government of Grenada position on supporting manufacturers into 2013, given the high production cost and uncompetitive nature vis-a-vis imports from Trinidad?
So what we need is to follow up with the Manufacturers Association to understand that issue.
Well, you likely to support their position?
No,
in other words, the fact that the regime expires, are you likely to continue it? Are you?
No, but we need to, before you can agree to something, Baron, you have to discuss.
Okay.
So we need to discuss with the Manufacturers Association exactly what they are looking at, hear their pros and the cons, and then move on. We cannot sit here and just decide, because this question is texting, that we have to understand the subject. Yeah, Ferry? We have to understand the subject. So we will, NUF has a email address, nufpress@gmail.com, so persons can, send in their questions.
So you believe dialogue? This is sensitive what you're saying.
We have to dialogue so that we can build this country together.
Okay.
Byron, we do not want to project ourselves as the saviors. All of us have to play a part. So the people with ideas, free to come, free to call, so that we can meet, discuss, to show the way forward.
Prorogation of Parliament, the big issue now. The opposition, everybody's talking. It's a subject outside that Parliament has been prorogued since July?
No,
when?
It was prorogued in September.
September. The last Parliament
sitting was July.
July. Yeah. So since July we had a sitting of Parliament. This is 4 months, 5 months later. What concerns you about this situation, if any?
It's sad that in a democracy, one would believe that the party that took you into office, the motto is let the people's voices be heard, and then the people's representatives are kept from the very institution that governs the land.
There's political expediency. They're not breaking any law. I mean, it's okay.
No, it's not okay.
They're not breaking the constitution of the country.
No, it's not okay, because I think in the beginning of our term in office in government, for some reason, the Constitution was the most important thing. But at the latter part, it's now realized that the power lies in the Parliament. And that is what NUF wants to bring to the fore, that we have to respect what the people or who the people vote for. Listen, our system of democracy must change. This winner past the post has to change. People do not understand how governance happens. Parliamentary representatives do not get a budget to do their constituencies. So when you're in opposition, your constituencies are not looked after. Yeah? So we have to find a way. And I think whoever is advising or whatever the reason, the parliament should be opened. We need to go to look after the people's business. I mean, Grenada is all of us own. We may have answers that can help the government to move on a different course.
Is accommodation with other political parties on the agenda?
We will always have discussion with our fellow Grenadians, whether they're in a political party or not. I think, and that is what we're saying. This thing about becoming very distance because you're in another party. The other party will have good ideas.
So you plan to have discussion with the opposition, with the NNP?
We'll have discussion with any of the political parties, so long as it's in the
is it planned?
This is the type of politics we say. Yeah. We don't want to continue to push this enmity because you're in another party, and when we in Parliament we don't talk to each other and so on and so forth. We have to bring a level of civility back, which would allow the debate to continue in what is good for Grenada.
Interesting, you talk about friendship. I mean, you're a senior partner in Siboney Chambers. Yourself, Honorable Peter David, Alwyn Nazim Burke are senior partners and business partners. Are you friends?
We are friends, right? Naz is not my enemy. I just have fundamental different views. Yeah, we're friends.
Okay.
And we're business partners.
Okay.
And if tomorrow he gets out of office, he's free to come back to Siboney and continue his practice. Because
like you are now.
Yeah, you know, and the point is that is what it's all about. We must not be spiteful in this thing. And you know, it's a pity we have not had enough time because this is the first time we really hit the airwaves to discuss.
Particularly, I want to go back to the first caller. The first caller said that, look, made insinuate that somehow you've been used by someone else. She didn't call the name, but is that a fact really? I mean, we didn't answer her, but.
I don't think it deserves an answer.
Doesn't deserve an answer. That's fine. We're really out of time. Any closing comments you want to say about NUF in terms of going forward here?
I want to, Ferry.
It's a pity I would just say. My closing comment is that we do have programs which we are developing. And so the caller was saying that we are not addressing these issues. But this is the first time around. We just launched. People want to hear. We have not even said these are officers and so on. And we do have some specific areas of the economy that we want to address. And two of those in particular are the youth, right? And the whole question of health. In fact, we've had preventative community.
Are we going to see youth faces in this party?
You're going to see youth faces in the party.
Honorable Roberts.
I want to also say, Byron, as I conclude, that as we move forward with NUF, we want to steer this country into one of respect for each other. And when I say respect, respect across the board. We should not see somebody's opinion as being anti. I would not be responding to any negatives. It's not part of my construct. I want to end by thanking everyone who would have supported our launch last night. I want to say to them, continue on the trek, engage us so that we can build our country together. We have to hold on together. Lots of things have been said before, but I am an optimist. I've been in politics for 9 years, so from today, I'm heading into a decade being in this, and I strive to be a different politician.
Thank you very much. That's all the time we have. I want to thank you, both of you,
for
being on Decide Political Watch. I hope you come back as things
and then we
develop.
can deal with the issues, those policy issues, and those programs that we intend to bring to the public.
Thank you very much, viewers. That's all the time we have. Thank you for being with us on Political Watch. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.